Hey, see if you agree with this. There are a few things harder to swallow than the big government, big media push narrative of anthropogenic climate apocalypse, except perhaps bug eating as one of their big so-called solutions to avert said apocalypse. Hi everyone, I'm Gardner Goldsmith for MRC-TV. Hey, you know how the competitive market based on respect for private property and private contracts that aren't supposed to be infringed by government? You know how that's all helped increase food productivity to such an extent that billions of people have been saved from starvation and U.S. agricultural output nearly tripled between 1948 and 2017? And you know how eastern states such as New Hampshire, the one in which I grew up, are famous for their stone walls, marking areas where farmers levered the rocks out of their fields and used them to delineate their property lines. But how those former fields are now hosts to giant forests because farming is so efficient nowadays that rocky eastern land is no longer needed for that purpose and it can be used for other purposes. And you know how people like Klaus Schwab and his cronies at the World Economic Forum and in various governments like Sri Lanka and Holland don't want people to own private property or farm livestock on their land, despite how successful private farming has been at improving people's lives? Okay, well, if you're familiar with those issues, then you also might be aware of and frustrated by the additional fact that a lot of Hollywood elites and the wonderful tax-subsidized public broadcasting system, PBS, have begun pushing the nasty idea that people should replace their consumption of low-priced, high-protein beef, pork, and veal, etc., and substitute, yeah, you got it, insects. Yes, indeed. If government is the vampiric Dracula, then Renfield, his bug-eating servant, now fits right into their plans. And we are the ones who are supposed to take on Renfield's persona. Based on this, July 18th, PBS America, the British-released version of PBS, tweet, the U.S. government created and taxpayer-subsidized network is exporting a show that it originally pushed here in the U.S. back in October. It's a fake crisis, government-provided solution, climate change, fear-mongering fest about, yes, indeed, also overpopulation and food supplies, both of which have been proven not to be worrisome, as economist Julian Simon showed us when he won a bet about scarcity and population with neo-Luddite Malthusian Paul Ehrlich, proving that over time, free markets generate productivity gains that bring bounty to more people at lower costs. PBS America tweet offers this on its menu. Quote, join at Nova PBS as they takes a tasty look at insect foods that could benefit our health and our warming planet. Edible Insects premieres tonight at 7:35 p.m. All right. And apart from the government-subsidized typo in that, they blithely assume the warming planet, which, as I've noted for MRC-TV, is not assumable blithely or otherwise. But of course, the narrative and the Renfield restaurant push fits right in with a larger narrative that promotes climate fear as a way to shut down farms, bankrupt ranchers, and allow governments, non-governmental organizations, NGOs, and banks to gobble up their property. For example, the World Economic Forum last year hailed the EU's new plan to use mealworms in food to reduce meat consumption. Not only is this troubling and tied to a clear disregard for personal choice, nutrition, and safety, it also assumes a lot. First, as the globalists did in Sri Lanka, and they're trying to do in Holland, they want to claim that there are greenhouse gases emitted by livestock and used in crystallized form to bring nitrogen into soil. The climate cultists like Al Gore, who recently compared fair-minded skeptics to negligent police who don't stop mass murder in a school?
You know, the climate deniers are really in some ways similar to all of those almost 400 law enforcement officers in Uvalde, Texas, who were waiting outside an unlocked door while the children were being massacred.
Yeah, the cultists have yet to prove that human-associated methane, nitrogen, and by the way, the atmosphere of the Earth is 78% nitrogen, and carbon dioxide actually are quantifiable drivers of Earth's temperature. They haven't proved it. Now, some climate alarmists look to Venus, where they say the greenhouse effect of gases has trapped heat. But Earth has a dynamic ecological system. And so far, the factor most closely correlated to swings in temperature is the output of the sun, a subject really discussed in detail in the 2006 book called Unstoppable Global Warming Every 1500 Years by S. Fred Singer and Dennis T. Avery. And of course, not all bugs consume fewer resources, from the total input of land and the required energy to raise and collect the food source of bugs, to the slaughter and hygienic delivery of said food source bugs. And there are health concerns over humans ingesting bugs. One recent National Library of Medicine report on the parasitological problems tied to insect eating said this among their findings, quote, "Our research indicates the important role of these insects in the epidemiology of parasites pathogenic to vertebrates. Conducted parasitological examination suggests that edible insects may be the most important parasite vector for domestic insectivorous animals." But that's not stopping the self-appointed elite. Rebel News notes that the Canadian government is showering $8.5 million on a cricket farm in London, Ontario. Yes, of course. And here in the United States, actress Nicole Kidman recently looked increasingly scary and weird as she sat down for a Vanity Fair publicity video wherein she ate 4 so-called courses of insect chow. This disturbing and memorably unsettling video serves as a reminder that sometimes what appear to be mere social trends also are pushed by public tax dollars. And PBS is a fine example of this. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Please like and subscribe whether you're watching on YouTube or Rumble, and we definitely suggest that you go to Rumble because they don't censor us there. Please hit the plus button on Rumble. And we'll see you in the comments section at both of those video hosting platforms. We'll see you at mrctv.org and the Media Research Center store, MRC store. We'll see you on TikTok and Facebook and Twitter and, of course, Instagram. And if you want to find me, I'm on Twitter at Gard Goldsmith and on Gab at Gardner Goldsmith. Thanks so much for watching.